This podcast is brought to you by Rebecca Castles of the Rising Dawn series. Do you like violence? Do you like smut? Are you tired of the stereotypical novels of werewolf romance out there and want something a little bit different? Then pick up Sparked Revolution, Book 1 in the Rising Dawn series by Rebecca Castles. Available on Amazon, in Kindle, and paperback. You too can become a sponsor of Stories, the True and the Fictional by heading on over to buymeacoffee.com/STTATF or follow the link in the show notes. Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Stories, the True and the Fictional, the indie author podcast supplying indie authors from all around the world. I'm one of your hosts, J.A. Bryden. With me always is our resident reader, Ryan. How are we going, Ryan?
Oh, living the dream, mate. I'm not wearing my shirt today, unfortunately. I didn't get it in the wash quick enough. But yeah, I am still living the dream. I am, not much happened this week. Just did a hell of a lot of reading, which is good. Read a bit more of your book. Read lots of comics. Started reading Don Campbell's new book, Fright Manifest, which is really, really good so far. But yeah, that's pretty much it. A lot of gaming, a lot of reading. Pretty uneventful for me this week.
I don't know. It's good that you're reading.
Your
TBR list must be through the roof. I know mine is.
Yeah, it seems like every time I finish one book, we do like 3 interviews in a week with awesome authors, and I have to buy their books, and so my TBR list just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. Even though I'm reading, I'm actually getting through it for once. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So hopefully we have not a great author on one day, so I don't have to buy the book and can get through.
So do you want me to cancel our next 2 guests because they have they're from the Dark Veil Society, which Janelle Shiki's from, and I was doing it because it's October, man. So
yeah, no, you're right. It is October. It's Halloween. That's what I mean. I just. There's so many. I never discovered horror books other than Dean Koontz and Stephen King until I did this podcast, and there's just so many. Like once I finish one, my Kindle Unlimited says, "Hey, you read this? Would you like this?" And I'm like, "Yes, I would." But then it just never. My list just never gets any smaller. So.
All right, podcast cancelled. Podcast cancelled. Ryan's TBR is too long.
Yeah, too long.
Anyway. Check out our sponsors, Rebecca Castles, Martin Kearns. We've got some great stuff out. Martin Kearns for the Urban Fantasy, a series called Valor of Valhalla. It's great. It is fantastic. And Rebecca Castles, she does paranormal romance, werewolves, modelled off Henry Cavill. So you've got to check that out. We have merch. Ryan always pulls me up if I don't say please buy his shirt. He has a Living the Dream shirt. It's on the screen.
I was just about to say that.
I saw the look in your face. But anyway, let's get to the show. Let's get to our guest, E.L. Lyons. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
I think it's been a long time coming. I mean, I've seen you floating around the Twitterverse, as I like to call it. It sounds cooler than the Xverse. And You got cool book covers. I'm going to say that. I judge books by the covers. I know it's horrific. But
I would love to show them, but I didn't bring the books as usual. I always tell myself that I should bring my books to the interview spot, and then I don't.
Well, not to worry, because we are prepared, because we will pop them up on the screen when we get to that.
Oh, cool.
I do some research, not a lot. But for those who aren't on TikTok and know who you are, who is E.L. Lyons?
I'm an author of dark epic fantasy, and I do a lot of stuff outside. Most of my content is either like me going and searching for rocks and bricks, or recording raccoons, or I don't know, chopping down trees. Then there's some book content on the side, or grammar content. I like to talk about all sorts of linguistic stuff, whether it's like etymology or punctuation. But I try to do it in an interesting way instead of like in a jargony way, so that people actually want to listen to it. So yeah, that's me.
Well, you did do a video that went viral, didn't it, about you talking about aluminium and aluminum and
Yeah, aluminum and Humphrey Davy. My most popular post I've ever made, which sold 0 books, was like I think it got like 40,000 views. It's probably more
yeah,
than that because people are still liking it now. Like at least like 3 times a day, somebody will like it and somebody else will add to the GIF
yeah,
comment thread
yeah.
under it. Like they're literally still arguing in the comments of the aluminum video about how to pronounce GIF. I'm not going to take a side. I'm going to say GIF now every time I say it because clearly people are very opinionated about this topic and they've researched it. There's interviews and different like theories on why these letters should be pronounced this way. It's very complicated. That was something that I had not looked into before people started talking about it in my comments, but
Wow.
very interesting.
Do you think they tracked down the guy that invented them? Wouldn't he have the
They
former?
did. Yeah, that's
He said, I don't
that's
know.
the interview. No, he said it was GIF, and that upset a lot of people.
Yeah, why not spell it with a J then? Why not spell it JIF, not GIF, you moron?
Yeah.
But yeah,
So people had been calling it GIF for
yeah,
like a decade
yep.
already, and then
Yeah.
he came out and said, "No, it's GIF." And then people were like, "You can't change it now. It's already established in the
Yeah.
language." But
That's
other
Mhm.
people, yeah, it was a whole drama apparently, and is still a drama. But uh, interesting origins of those things. But
that's
I won't
like
make a video on it though, because those people were like genuinely upset.
that's awesome. Well, that's like when me, because we're Australian, so we've been pronouncing a shoe company Adidas
Mhm.
all our lives. Like it's Adidas, and
Adidas?
and then
Wow.
we watch a movie with Ben Affleck and the shoe movie, and they're saying Adidas, and I go, what's
Yeah.
Adidas? What's Adidas? What's Adidas? And so
Uh,
for 30,
they were
40 years, me and Ryan have been pronouncing it wrong.
Mhm.
nice. I don't know. It
And
doesn't sound like a normal English word, so I
Yeah.
don't even know if we're saying it right.
Mm.
I've never looked into the pronunciation of Adidas
Yeah.
or Adidas. What have you?
Adidas. Adidas
Adidas,
sounds cooler.
Adidas.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see how like, you see the word written and then
Mm.
different English speaking places have different phonetic tendencies.
Yeah.
So you pick one or the other and you go with it because,
Yep.
most of them were around before. Well, I don't know. I feel like Adidas was probably after the internet. No,
No,
there
well,
were
because it's a
Adidas.
shoe, so it would be the 90s. Would have been the 90s or the 80s?
yeah, I
I
think it was
thought,
out in 80. Actually, you know what? I'm going to ask
The
the
Google gods.
all-seeing, the all-knowing. When was Adidas
Invented.
founded? 1949 in
oh,
Germany.
goodness.
Wow. The
Yeah.
Germans.
So it's a German name. Um, yeah, his name was Adi Dassler, the guy who created it, because he wanted to make a difference in athletic performance. So
Was it,
Adi
Oh.
Dassler,
or is it Adi Dassler?
or it could be
Because
Adi Dassler.
if it's Adidas, there's a DD. I can't say it.
But yeah, 1949. There you go. But he's a German called Adi Dassler.
Welcome to the Shoe Podcast. Um,
Welcome to the Shoot Podcast. My
Huh.
name is Ryan.
It's
I'll be your
fascinating.
host.
Now, I've got to ask behind the scenes magic because you do these slide-ons for your TikToks.
Oh,
Is there a
yes.
secret to it? Are you wearing special socks? Are you on roller skates or something?
I'm not on roller skates, but I am really particular about my socks. Like people will always try to get me socks for like Christmas and stuff because everyone knows that I'm cold all the time. And I hate all the socks except
Yeah.
Realtree socks. And it's got to be like a specific type. So they're really thick. They're really
All right.
thick socks. And yeah, so I wear those all the time. But other than that, the floors are just really slick. Like prior to moving here, we had carpets for like, I don't know, however long we lived
Mm.
there, like 15 years. And you couldn't slide on anything. But I clean the floors every week with like this pledge stuff and the spray, and it makes them really slippery. So you can go too hard with that stuff.
Yeah.
One of the cats loves to race you into the bathroom and jump on the
Mhm.
toilet so he can get a kiss before you use it. He's like a toilet troll, and he
Yeah.
wants his toll. But we
Mhm.
did pledge too much one time, and he just slid right off of it and into the shower, and that was traumatizing for him. So now he doesn't do that anymore. But so
I
don't
love it.
clean
Yeah.
too much.
Do you actually know, like I know the answer to this, but do you know why our lovely feline friends always like to follow us into the toilet?
Not certain, but I figure it's probably something about like they're in your community and they're supposed to like protect each other when they're vulnerable. So they're like trying to,
They
yeah.
Yeah, they sense that when you're in the toilet, you're at your weakest, or when you're in the
Hmm.
bathroom, you're at your weakest. So they see it as their job to protect you because you're one of their pack.
Hmm.
And that's why whenever you go, and it's the same with my girls, whenever you go to the toilet, they will come running.
Hmm.
And they'll, even if they don't come running, they'll both come in and check on me within like the span of the 3 minutes that I'm in the bathroom. I'll get a visit from both of them because they're checking to make sure that you're okay. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
where because they think that's where we're at our weakest,
Well,
and
now I
that's
know
when they
which
like
cat
to check
doesn't care
on
about whether I live or die.
us. Yeah.
Me too. Um,
Yeah.
because I dog sit and cat sit for my sister 3 times a week, and the dogs are all over me, but the cats are like, I don't care unless it's food time. So
Well,
they,
Jamie, for that, they won't actually like they can tell who is their actual owner or not. So if you're just there, if you're a family friend or you're like a relation that's not there all the time, they don't see you as part of their pack, so they won't necessarily feel the need to check up on you because
thank you for making me feel better.
that's okay because
You
literally
would
they
get
don't
eaten
care
really
about you.
fast.
I would
Yeah,
no.
100%, 100%.
I had one of the cats when my sister was on holidays. I had them living with me for like a month. So it
Yeah,
knows
our
me.
cats are very different when you like leave. Like they all have different reactions, but one of them will immediately assume that you're never coming back,
Yep.
and they now have to adopt the new human and
Yeah.
seduce them and make sure that they're loved.
Mhm.
Like he just has
Oh
to
yeah.
has to find a new home now because we're never coming back.
Mm.
Yep, that is my cat, my surgically attached to the cat Mavis. As most of our listeners know, I was in hospital last year from June until March of this year, and I didn't get to see my girls for that long, obviously, because here they don't allow animals into the hospital.
Yeah.
And because she was my shadow before, my wife was like, okay, look, we'll just don't expect her to be all over you when you get home because, she hasn't seen you for so long. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, that's cool. Like, whatever, we'll just play it by ear. And then as soon as I got home, and I think within like 10 minutes, we
Oh.
opened the bathroom door to let the cats out. And within 10 minutes, she was out. She sat in front of me and looked at me like that, just sitting there for like maybe a minute or two, and then jumped all over me. And now, anytime I go out, like if I have to have a hospital appointment or if I'm going out somewhere, even if I'm gone for an hour or 2 hours, I come home and she is like absolutely all over me. She's like, I thought you were never coming back. Oh my God, oh my God. Just
Traumatized.
because of, yeah, exactly. She's like, I thought I was going to have to live with mum and I hate her. Just, she doesn't hate her, but she definitely loves me more. Yeah, it's just, she has really bad separation anxiety from
Mm.
me. So I can't even go out to go down the road to the chemist and be back within like half an hour without her getting all over me.
She has a little photo of Ryan in a wallet, in a cat wallet.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, we're
Yep, she
like
does.
20 minutes in and we haven't done one
Oh,
icebreaker.
sorry.
Is this going to be a good
Yeah.
good episode, Ryan? I think it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got nothing to do all day. I'm just cruising, so I'm happy. I'm happy to go all
Awesome.
day.
I honestly can't remember who's going first, Ryan. You. Okay.
Yep.
Set the world, Ryan.
Alrighty. So, okay. Because of too many people wanting to seem like that they're all amazing, we've had to sort of cut this question down. So we live in a world where there is no war, complete peace, no cruelty to animals, no cruelty to humans. It's almost a perfect world. Now, given that we live in this almost perfect world, what is something that you would like to get rid of, i.e., like a pet peeve or something that annoys you? Because we kept getting too many selfish answers like, oh, we want world peace and all that bullshit. But we want selfish answers. Like,
Yeah.
yes, we know you love world peace. You're an amazing person. Yes, yes, we understand, but be
Motorized
selfish.
vehicles. I know my
Yeah,
answer.
okay.
Motorized vehicles.
Okay.
Like all of them. I hate them. I know that they're incredibly convenient
Mhm.
and they make life better for everyone, but I don't like how loud they are. And I don't like being in them, especially the ones that are not like land vehicles, like water vehicles and sky vehicles should not exist, in my opinion. I don't want to be in the sky or on the water. And I feel like we are clearly designed to be on the ground. That's where we
Okay.
belong, going at like foot speed. Foot speed is the pace that humans should be at. So yeah, I would take away all motorized things.
All of
So,
them? Every single one of them?
Yes. hmm
Okay.
All
Can
all of
I
the motors.
can I ask you a side question to this, EL? Why do you hate me? Because I know it's not very visible, but I'm actually in a wheelchair, and that is technically a motorized
Oh,
vehicle. So I need this
oh.
to be
yeah,
able to
but
get
no, but
around.
your wheelchair doesn't go.
It doesn't go above foot speed. So I guess like, right? Like
Oh,
in
I can
essence,
go
like
above foot
I feel like I'm
speed.
really
I can go above foot speed. I
okay.
live in Maryland, which is like the souped up car area of the world. And
Okay.
I can
Australia
go
has a
faster
Maryland.
than oh yeah.
We have a lot of overlap.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Although I think yours is Maryland as in spelt correctly, Mary. Ours is Merry
Mhm.
as in like Merry Christmas, like Merry. I don't know why. It's just because we thought,
You
oh,
didn't
we'll
want to
just
be
change
British.
thing. Yeah, exactly. We'll just change. Oh,
Yeah, didn't want
but
to be named
we
after the
have
Queen.
although we have a place called Newcastle, which is directly from Britain,
England.
from
Yeah.
UK. We have Cardiff, which is just down from Newcastle, which
hmm
is also from the UK. We just can't make up our minds.
We've got Paris as well.
Yeah, we do.
We've got a Paris.
Mm.
But it's not like some
And
extravagant city. It's like probably like there's probably like 20 people that live there.
and there's a suburb in Victoria called Batman, which is where I should be living.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know this.
hmm
Jeez.
hmm
We do have a lot of weird names.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah, we took
Batman's
a
not a
lot
weird
from
name.
the British and other places. Like I discovered after writing the first draft of Starlight Jewel, there's a country called Norge. That's where most of everything takes place. And I got that off of a highway exit sign, like a small
Okay.
swamp town called Norge,
Hmm.
only to discover that that is actually a country in real life. Um, it's Norway is
Yeah.
in Norwegian is
Okay.
Norse. Yeah. So and then I had already been in my head pronouncing like like Norgans, like with a hard G, so Norge and then Norgans. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. So when I realized that that wouldn't really fit, like I couldn't change it because it was already in my head for so long that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently we just
Plus,
took everything from Europe, all our
Yep.
names.
yeah, I just feel like people were out here were naming things and they had a few good names for things. They're like, oh yeah, we'll do this. And then by the end of it, they just got lazy and were like, yeah, let's just have a look at a map of Britain
Mhm.
because that's where we all came from because we're all criminals apparently. Um, and they're just like, okay, yeah, let's just take Newcastle, let's take Cardiff, let's take all these other places where, we're just too lazy to think of any other good
Yeah.
names.
Well, it's literally it's all English names, or it's
Yeah.
all the native Aboriginal names.
Yep.
Like there's no in
Yeah.
That's
between.
probably a weird mix.
I mean, there's yeah, because it's like we've got Wagga Wagga. We got a place called
Oh yeah.
Wagga Wagga.
Very British.
Um, but you can't. Well, there's a joke because we have there's Woy Woy and then there's Wagga Wagga, but
Mhm.
people you can call Wagga. You're allowed to call Wagga Wagga Wagga, but you're not allowed to call Woy Woy Woy. It's
There's
all this
rules.
weird.
Yeah.
Yes, to our slang, there's rules. Um,
That's a slang.
But
So is it a place or is it slang
yeah,
or is it both?
it's
no, it's
both.
an actual place.
Well, it's like
It's
we have a town near where I live called North Richmond. No one calls it North Richmond. We call it Northo.
oh
You know?
oh yeah, Northern.
You know?
So we do
We've
that
got a
all the
Richmond here
time.
too.
Yeah.
We do that all the time. We generally well, I don't like to say lazy because I don't consider myself lazy, but Australians in general kind of when we create nicknames or when we
Mm,
create, different ways of saying towns and stuff, we just get lazy. Like where I was born and raised in a suburb called Quakers Hill, but we never called Quakers Hill. It was always Quakers.
mm,
We just would cut
Oh,
out a word. We're just generally, when we come to friends, and like you have a friend named Steven, you call him Stevo.
yeah.
You have a friend called Damien, you call him Damo. We're just
Mm,
we're not very original with
no.
our,
We got too much
with
time to
our,
kill.
yeah,
It's like
exactly.
we got to compartmentalize because I live in a town called Bowen Mountain. It's like probably 13 streets. I always joke that if you came to my town and spent 3 days knocking on random doors, you'd probably find me. It's that small. Um, but when I moved back here, everyone was calling it Bomo.
oh,
I'm like,
That is just
gotta
really
shorten
bogan
it.
to me.
it is so bogan, and there's plenty of bogans. But anyway, let's move on to our next icebreaker question. What's something on your bucket list?
I don't actually have a bucket list, but if I was gonna say like what are some things I want to do, I would like to have chickens and some Jacob sheep, maybe a
Ooh,
Highland cow. I don't know.
okay.
I don't know if that counts as like a bucket list thing, but
Yeah.
Hey.
I would like all those things at some point in the future. Uh,
Yeah, it could
you know.
definitely count as a bucket list
Yeah,
because it's something that you don't
would like to
have
do.
that
Yeah,
you would like to have or would like
yeah,
to do. So for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
Yep. Now
homebody. I don't like to go places.
with the when you're talking about the Highland cows, are you talking about like the miniature ones or like the full size ones?
I think I would want a full-sized ones. I'm not sure how I
Hmm.
feel about miniature animals. Like they're
Okay.
for sure cute, but I always
Mhm.
wonder like, is it right? Is it gonna
Yeah,
be okay being that small? What did they have
Yeah,
to do to make it small?
yeah.
Um,
exactly.
and we did have, before we started recording, I mentioned that toy poodle I had, and it seemed really healthy.
Mm,
Um, but I've seen some other smaller-eyed animals that are they don't look very healthy. They
no,
look like they're struggling. And I wouldn't want an animal like that. I feel like Highland cows are kind of supposed to be big,
yeah.
but I don't actually know anything about that. So normal sized cow.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really like my wife is obsessed with the she loves Shetland ponies, she loves, miniature
Mm.
cows, just because we could have them to live in your house. Um,
Yeah.
but when it
Well,
comes to dogs and
Shetland ponies, I'm not concerned about because I've known some
okay,
Shetland ponies and they will live through sheer spite and generally bad attitudes. So I think they're
okay,
fine.
okay. But yeah,
I
small
wouldn't want
dog,
one in my house though.
I can't do chihuahuas. I can't do like
Mm,
tiny dogs. I don't think that
Mm.
I don't mind
mm,
dogs when they're small as babies and cats when they're small as kittens, but like I'm the same. I would be too worried to like if I had a small dog, I'd be too worried to touch it because I'd be worried that I might break it.
Like it, yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just
Well,
I wouldn't want to. Yeah, it caused me more anxiety to have that than to have like a normal dog.
a wise man called Ron Swanson once said, any dog under 50 pounds is a cat, and cats are pets."
I love Ross
Uh,
Swanson.
he's great. Um,
All right, my
right.
turn. Question number three.
I'm gonna bring it up.
Bring up the magical image whenever you're ready,
Ta-da.
Jamie. Just
There it
take your
is.
time. There you go. Okay, so I'm sure you're very familiar with this
Monument.
lovely mountain structure
Yes.
from your beautiful home country. So this is obviously for those who don't know or don't care, it's the Mount Rushmore. So it's like famous American presidents over time, George Washington, Abe Lincoln, and I'm not going to even pretend that I know the other two.
Is it
But
Roosevelt? Roosevelt? I don't know. We're Australian.
I remember George Washington because he was the first, and
Yeah,
I
and
remember
then
Abe
Abraham,
Lincoln
because he freed
because
the
he's a
Yes.
slaves.
Oh,
vampire
you're asking
hunter.
who that guy is? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Washington, Jefferson, Roosevelt, and Lincoln, I
Yes.
think.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
But yeah,
cool.
that's definitely
Yeah.
Roosevelt. He's got the mustache
The,
and the
the
eyebrows.
monocle, yeah.
Is there a monocle?
That kind of looks like a monocle, but I could be wrong. Um,
But yeah, we're not here to talk about presidents. We're here to talk about what's on your Mount Rushmore of TV shows. So any genre, any era,
Oh,
just four TV shows
TV
that you
shows.
think belong on the Mount Rushmore of television shows.
Okay, gargoyles for sure.
I knew that was
Like
Hmm.
coming.
the cartoon. I think that's essential watching for all people.
Yes.
Hmm.
The Nanny, but not like the reality TV show The Nanny. And I hate that there's
No,
like,
the Fran Drescher one.
yes, exactly. I love Fran.
Mr. Sheffield.
Um, what other shows have I even liked?
Feel
I
free to
liked
get.
Buffy when I was a
Buffy was
kid.
cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think everyone around and I do apologize for assuming your age, but I think everyone around like maybe our age and 10 years, 10 years either side is kind of like was always into Buffy. Because I grew up,
Yeah.
Mm.
I couldn't play many songs on guitar, but I could definitely play the Buffy theme song.
Yeah, I
I
memorized
think
all the
that,
lyrics to that musical
yeah,
episode.
yeah, nice,
Yeah.
nice. I love
Yeah.
that. So I
Oh,
can, Buffy's
He-Man,
good.
He-Man.
Hey, man.
Or no, wait, maybe Thundercats. He-Man and Thundercats
Thundercats.
are like tied for me, so they're gonna be combined as my fourth choice.
And that's classic
Okay.
Thundercats. Because I know they did a new
Is
one.
there a new Thundercats?
They did a new one, like I think within the last 10 years.
Okay, I didn't even know about that, so no.
I think
The one that was on VHS.
yeah. No, well, I think it didn't do well. I think it did one or two seasons. It got cancelled.
Was it terrible? Did you watch it?
I don't
I
the
will
Google.
consult the
I
gods.
remember watching it because our friend Chris was obsessed with it. Uh, but he only likes watching
Yeah.
one season of anything. It's like he works for Netflix. It's like
So
he goes, I love this.
the original show ran two seasons and it came out in 1985.
Mm.
And the remake was called Thundercats War, and it only had one season
Yeah.
and came out in
Oh.
2020. And it looked,
Oh
oh
wow.
my God, it looked horrible.
Then, was there another one before then?
No, that's it, just two.
All right, okay. Well, must have been
So
thinking of something else.
2020, well, 2020 is like almost 6 years ago, so
That
you're
reminded me
pretty
of my
close.
age.
Oh no, hold on. There was another one in 2011.
That's the one I would have thought of.
Again,
Yeah.
it went for one season and then
Yeah.
got cancelled.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think you can
So
recreate that original vibe.
No.
It's
no,
weird. Um,
it's like what they did with
Very
Ninja
strange.
Turtles. Like Ninja Turtles, the original series was to me the best. And aside from that one series that they did that Jamie showed me that was based directly off the comics, they really couldn't capture that
No.
original magic again.
No.
Yeah, I could only pay attention to the rat in that. Like my brother loved that show, and I loved the rat, Splinter,
Mm.
but the turtles all looked the same to me.
Yeah.
Like trying to keep track
Mhm.
of them by their color was like too complicated, and they had really long, complicated names. Like Michelangelo, like
Yeah.
which to me, I don't know how old when he was watching those, but I wasn't a fan. And he also liked things
Now,
like
now,
Animorphs, Goosebumps.
now, Jamie, please don't end the interview. Jamie's obsessed with Ninja Turtles. He loves the Ninja Turtles. And I just saw
Mm.
him do his famous patent and Jamie look, which is what he does when he's like,
The Jamie
he's
face.
trying to be interested, but he actually hates what you're saying.
No.
And
It's
something
not.
like, it's
It's
just
a
like,
disagreement face. All right.
I'm doing it
It's
now.
okay. I can't control my face either.
No, it's all right. No, like I don't expect everyone
Hey,
to love Ninja Turtles.
And if I could have
you,
told them apart, that would have been different. Like if the
Yeah.
actual turtles had maybe not all been green, if they like, because it just looked to me like they were wearing like
Well,
different bandana.
they played heavily in on personalities and weapons because originally they were all
Yeah.
red. They all had the same bandana.
Well, at
yep.
that age, I was not really into
Yeah.
personalities. I thought that Skeletor was the good guy in He-Man because he was smiling and purple. And that to me was, I mean, he was happy. He had a cat.
Yeah.
That
He was the
seemed
good guy.
like protagonist energy to me. So he was always laughing
Yeah.
and having fun. And that
Yeah. No, that's
good
fair
guy.
point. Fair point.
So I don't think I was
Okay.
really tuned in to the plot of anything at that point. I was just existing,
Mm.
and I did want to be Skeletor as well, because he seemed like he was having so much fun. And purple was my favorite color.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No,
I get it. I get it.
that's a fair argument.
Jamie will still hate you, but that's a fair argument.
No, no, because I hate 50% of Ninja Turtles
Yeah.
because all the
But
new
you
stuff is
like the good
garbage.
stuff, like
Yes.
you know me, Jamie. Like I keep watching and reading things way longer than I should because
Hmm.
I'm committed to it. And with
Yeah.
the IDW comics, like I read from once you told me about them, I read from issue 1 to 100, and that was amazing. Such a good run.
And
And then they
then
went into the Mutant Town kind of stuff, which I'm still reading. I hate
different.
to admit it. I'm still reading, and it's not as good. Like I when the new issue of before between issues 1 and 100 came out, it used to be one of the first things I read
Yeah,
every
it's
week.
fantastic.
But now but in saying that, I actually looked at the like because I'm behind on my comics reading because I was in hospital. Um, I looked at last week's comics. They actually started it again. They got rid of everything. And it's still under the IDW label,
Yeah.
and the turtles are back to having the red, all of them having the red
Oh wow. Bandanas.
mask. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna give it a go. But yeah, I mean the plot to the last arc of the last lot of Ninja Turtle comics I read was focused around Janika and her
Yeah.
friend winning a
Wow.
battle of the bands. And I'm like,
What?
really?
Is she still a turtle?
Really? And yeah, she's still a turtle.
Oh, there's
And they've
girl
still,
turtles now?
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
to go back to the controversy of the 90s, the creators split over the addition of a fifth
yeah,
turtle, which was a girl turtle.
Oh.
And she was very unlikable. And they were like,
yeah.
not
Oh.
working together ever again. And um with the IDW one, they introduced a female turtle, but they did it better than the last one.
Mm.
It wasn't shoved in your face. It's like
Mhm.
you grew to know this character, and then this character turned into a turtle. And it was more organic. But yes,
Yeah, I do think it's like kind of annoying when they'll add like just like a token character,
Yeah.
but also like do such a bad job making them like especially with females, they make them such a like they try to make them a badass character, but
Yeah.
really they just make them arrogant and annoying and bossy.
yeah.
And that's I've seen that before, but yeah.
Poor
Oh, look,
execution.
I didn't know
and
that the Ninja Turtles even had comics, though. I feel like I probably would have been more into it as a kid if
Well,
if I
the
had had the comics.
it's
the comics are much better.
And it started as comic.
I'd say, yeah, it started as comics.
And then they went, hey, we can make this a kid friendly. And they're like, no. One of them was no. But now we're getting an R-rated movie. This is coming out soon, so that's all right. But this isn't the Ninja
Yeah.
Turtle podcast.
Yeah, well, it kind of is because you're on it, but no, the original comics were pretty dark. Like it was a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
violence, a lot of violence, a lot
yeah,
of not language, but like mature themes,
yeah,
and it's really good. Like as I
yeah,
said, issues 1 to 100 are absolutely amazing,
yeah,
but then it just got really bad.
yeah.
Yeah. They must have sold really well, or else we would have some. My dad got leftover comics that didn't sell at the store. So
All
like
right.
the only comics we got were the reject ones, but there was tons
Wow.
of reject Marvel and DC comics. Like all the comics I've ever read are from like the 80s.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, there's a couple different series that I've like found out about only because they sold well, so we never got it. Warlord was what we ended up getting like the most of because like nobody liked that, and I love it. It's my favorite comic. So
That's
anyway.
awesome. All right, let's get on to number four. What is your zombie apocalypse plan?
Um, I I think I'm pretty good where I'm at and
It's
with
like
my
me.
current team.
Yeah.
Because my boss is a veteran, and I think he contemplates the apocalypse of various kinds of apocalypses more than most people. Um, and generally just political crises are always on his mind. So I think that he would be really prepared for that, and I could just exist and continue doing what I do anyway.
Hmm.
And he's got the whole house generator and skills and stuff, whereas I know what I can eat outside. I mean, I'd probably be fine just staying in the woods. Um, so
You
I
said.
don't know. I wouldn't do much different. If zombies did come here, of course, I would help fight. But what are you going to do aside from just kill the zombies? We wouldn't have to go anywhere. We're already in kind of the middle of nowhere. So
Yeah. No, that's good. You're the first one apart from me to have that answer. It's like I live in the middle of nowhere. Um,
yeah, it's pretty nice. It's convenient for zombie apocalypses.
yeah.
To not be around a lot of people who could be zombies.
Yeah.
And
The
even if
end.
they were, most of the population here is on on the older side, and
Hmm.
so probably would not be very effective as zombies anyway. Slow
Well,
zombies.
we did I think a while ago we did like a graph working out which area got which zombies, and you guys in the States were lucky. You got the Walking Dead ones. So they're the
Hmm.
slow lumbering ones
Hmm.
that, don't really do much. So I think you might be okay.
Yeah, we'll be fine. The Walking Dead zombies, I don't even think they can really climb over things. You just
No.
build yourself a nice wall, like, and then you're done. And if anybody comes and tries to take this little piece of land, then I don't know, you kill them too. I'm cool with that. Well,
All right.
that's the plan.
Awesome. All right. Well, question number 5 of the icebreaker, the last question. So are you familiar with a movie called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted Bogus Journey?
No.
No.
I didn't think so.
Are you
Didn't
familiar
think
with
so.
Keanu
You're way too
Reeves?
young for that.
Yes, I am familiar with Keanu Reeves.
Well, that was
Okay, well
Um,
one of
that
his first movies.
yeah,
I'm
so
not sure I've
basically
ever
what
seen one
it
of his movies all the way through, but he seems really
oh,
nice.
Yeah, no, he's a nice guy.
that's it. This podcast is over. My wife will murder you just for saying that.
Oh, that's right.
Because she's obsessed with Keanu Reeves.
Do you want to bring Keanu
But
in,
no, in
Ryan? Do you want to bring Keanu
oh
in,
no,
or is he
look,
still in
Keanu
storage?
Reeves he's in storage, yeah, because we've got a smaller house this time, so you have to stay in storage, unfortunately. But no, Jamie bought my wife a life-size standee of Keanu Reeves for Christmas
Oh,
one
that's
year,
so sweet.
and
Yeah.
it spent more time in the bedroom than I did. So yeah, that was awesome. But no, so basically the premise of the movie is it's a time travel movie. These guys go to school They need to do a history report. So as all school movies do, they find a guy who's got a phone booth time machine and go back to all the different historical times and pretty much get all the famous historical figures to come back and give a report in person. So, um, so given that's the premise of the movie,
Yeah.
Bill and Ted arrive out the front of your house in their phone booth time machine and say, "Whoa, dude, Rufus has asked us to give you a free ride in our phone booth time machine. Where do you go?"
Um, I don't know. I don't want to go very far back. Because, if you get syphilis in a certain time, or like, I'm trying to think of syphilis is the only historical disease the Black Plague,
Hmm.
kills people. I don't want to go back. I don't know enough about history to know where I'm gonna die.
Hmm.
So I don't want to go back before like the 30s, but I also don't really like the flappers. Um, that seems
You
like
can go forward
a
if
little
you
bit
want.
too much. Go
Hmm.
forward,
You can go forward if you want. There's no
but then
rules.
you don't
You pick a
know.
time and
Yeah.
exactly,
You don't know
exactly.
what's going to happen in the future. So like I don't know if I want to be there either for sure. I would probably just go back like 20 years and you know, give myself some books. Like I would go back to when I was alive and try to encourage me down a better, more efficient life route than I went. I don't think I'd want to go back to any
Yeah.
historical times because they're all, I don't know enough about them. And also, I'm not that interested in them to want to
Yeah.
live them over again because all I know is the bad events. Like,
Hmm.
what do you got a bunch of wars? I mean, I guess I could talk to people, but somehow I feel like Shakespeare and Edgar Allan Poe were probably like schizophrenic or something. Like I'd go back and I'd just be really disappointed that they're like kind of
Yeah.
crazy and I can't understand Old English at all. Um, or I don't, Poe is obviously not Old English, but I think Shakespeare was,
Yeah.
or at least Middle English. Yeah, because if you go back far enough, then you can't understand English anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'll just go back 20 years. That seems safe.
Yeah.
That seems like
Yeah.
a safe
Safe.
thing because I want to get back here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 years seems good.
That's good. That's good. Well, we've done the icebreakers. Now it's on to the fun part where we get to learn all about you and your writing and all the fun stuff. So we're going to start off with a simple question. As me and Ryan are comic book fans, we love hearing about people's origin stories. So when it comes to writing, what is your origin story?
My dad was obsessed with the fantasy and sci-fi. He read me Lord of the
Mhm.
Rings in the womb. Um, and he was very excited that I was born on Tolkien's birthday. I'm sure if it had been up to him, my name would have been Galadriel, or Frodo. I don't know. He would have chosen something Lord of the Rings related if he had any say at all. So yeah. And then he kept reading me Lord of the Rings and Dune and I, Robot, The Sword of Shannara. And he also had his comic collection, which I already mentioned. Then he would read those to me. It was mostly him like reading them to me while like trying to get me not to touch them because he was afraid I would hurt his comics. There were there was only a few that he was like, I don't care, just take these. Those were mostly the Warlord comics, which is
Mm.
like why those became my favorite because he didn't care about them. They didn't sell well, that's how he got them, and then even he didn't care about them, so that's how I ended up liking them. But and then just I guess from like that early sci-fi fantasy influence, I just like for as long as I can remember, I was telling kind of sci-fi fantasy related stories like about, you know, fairies and alligators and like talking alligators. Those are the earliest ones I
Okay.
can remember. And then as soon as I could draw and write a little bit, I was doing comics. I think that was like fourth grade. I had like a fourth grade teacher who pretended to be really interested in my comics, and that was really nice of her. Um, and then I think I was like getting into writing books when I was in like middle school. And then eventually I was like, writing whole books and stuff, but I usually wouldn't finish them. I just get so frustrated like halfway through that I hated everything I wrote, and I complained about that once to my boss, and he told me that I needed to stop complaining and just like go actually take my hobby seriously and go to like a writing workshop or something. I never had any intention to publish. I just enjoyed writing. It didn't occur to me that like I could ever write anything worth publishing because I was so bad. Um, I knew I was bad. I didn't need anyone to tell me that. So then I did go to this like feedback site, and I started getting feedback on Starlight Jewel. And I think that was like the second draft. It's hard to remember the exact order that things happened, but eventually from there, editing actually helped me get it to where it didn't suck. And I actually enjoyed reading it, which was a shock to me. Um, because the first draft was bad enough to make me cry. It was so bad. I had like a little mental meltdown. But yeah, so we edited it, and got it to a point where it was publishable, and then I published it. So yeah, that's my author origin story.
Cool.
Awesome. I don't know why, like, we talk to a lot of authors, obviously, but a lot of them say that, up until recently, they don't like what they write. And I've had the pleasure of reading some of that stuff, and I'm like, this is pretty awesome. I don't get why you guys don't like it. And I'm pretty sure that'll probably be the same for your case, because a lot of people say, oh, I don't like what I write, like I was very bad, but I just, I don't know, like maybe it's just me, maybe I just like a lot of different stuff, but 9 times out of 10, when I read someone's book that's been on the podcast, it's good. It's really good.
Well, I like it now. I just didn't like the first like 3 or 4 drafts.
Yeah.
It didn't, I didn't understand really, because I wasn't online. I wasn't on social media. I did have
Okay.
like a stint on Reddit cooking forums, and then I got banned from them. So I just stopped going online after that. But I didn't know that people like edited in the way that you actually, I thought editing was like proofreading basically. And so to me, it was like, oh, you just wrote a crappy book and there's no way to fix that. Like, there's no amount of editing. Like, editing is not going to help this. And then somebody actually helped me learn the actual skills of like developmental editing and learning about like craft skills, and pointed me to better craft books than I had been reading. Like Orson Scott Card's got a really good craft book that I think everybody should read. I think it's called Characters and Viewpoint. Um, but once I realized that you could actually change the entire book a lot, like it was editing is more than just like changing the sentence structure. It's not just proofreading or line level editing. Once I realized that editing was changing the whole book to be better, then that kind of helped me write the entire book over again better. So yeah, but no, everything before that objectively was crap. It was bad. I would never let anybody read anything. It was bad enough that some people in this world have seen, those early drafts of Starlight Jewel. Showing that to anybody was mortifying. So I think you can kind of tell when something is bad. I think at least some people can. You're reading it and the suspense isn't suspenseful and the dialogue is cringy. Nothing is functioning how it should. Like none of the emotions are emotioning how they're supposed to emotion. There's just a huge disconnect between like the story in my mind and the story on the page. So yeah, I think it was objectively bad. All of it.
Okay.
So how much did you have to actually change? Like was it just the grammar, was it just spelling, was it like plots and
All of it.
all of it?
All of it.
But
Except for maybe the world building. That kind of, skeleton was still there. But I changed the ending, I think, 3 different times by the time we got to the last draft. I changed who lived and who died. I changed where like certain major plot points happened and how they happened. I changed almost all the dialogue. The only thing I think that remained the same was like the first 5 lines of the book, the little italicized part in the beginning, which is kind of like an epilogue, but or what is it, prologue, but it's only one paragraph. And that even I think got a couple grammar changes because I couldn't decide whether I wanted to do semicolons or commas or periods. Like obviously there was like a grammatically correct answer, and then there was like a maybe this will read smoother answer, and generally I couldn't decide what to do there. So I just kind of fiddled with it until I didn't hate it and people complained less. So yeah, everything got changed. It got rewritten at least 3 times.
And did you have the same beta readers and all that working with you the entire time, or did you mix it up a bit?
Mark Terrible, or no, I mispronounced his last name. I think it's Terrible. Mark. I don't know why I even try to say his last name. I know I can't. Mark read through the book. I don't even know how many times. From like the first draft that I showed people, which I think was actually the second draft, until publishing it. He just read it over and over again every time I changed something, which was super helpful because he actually knew tons of craft stuff. He basically just like, became my mentor and helped me until I published for like 2 years, I think, that we talked about the book and how to fix it. And he helped me with Ostrander's Wrath as well. I'm exceedingly grateful. Like I would not have published if he had not like found me. And he didn't even want to continue after he got to chapter 2 of Starlight Jewel. We have very different memories of how this happened. But in my mind, it was like he got there and he was like, yeah, this sucks, basically, in a nice way. I'm not going to read anymore. And in his mind, it was like he didn't think I would want as much feedback as he wanted to give because there were a lot of problems. And I wanted the feedback a lot because there were a lot of people who just, will tell you they like something. And that's what I found when I got to this critique site, was that a lot of people were like, oh yeah, it's good, but maybe you could change this. And they would have like one suggestion. There's that critique sandwich advice that people get. And Mark basically, instead of doing that, just dropped all these criticisms on me. And it was like, yes, thank goodness. Somebody understands how bad it is and how much help it needs. It's kind of like you like go to the mechanic and you hear like 10 different noises in your car and they just want to change your air filter.
Yeah.
And you're like, there's clearly more wrong with this than what you're saying. So that was really helpful of him. And he continues to be the most helpful beta reader I have. I think he might be the only beta reader that I've like maintained from book 1 to book 2. Not for any particular reason. Some of the beta readers I had in book 1 got busy. Some of them weren't quite in the target audience and they were just helping because I was helping with their books.
Yeah.
And then when I needed beta readers for book 2, it was just who already in my audience actually had time, which was I just had to use those people, which thankfully those people have been amazing. So it has been an easier beta reading experience this time around because they are all in the target audience and they came to the table with like really unique skills that I needed for this particular book. Yeah, so I've liked all of that process and getting to meet people and figure out what is valuable to me for my book in a beta reader. I think everyone has different strengths and weaknesses when it comes to being an author, and you need somebody who actually knows how to fix what's wrong with you.
That's it. I think sometimes people just want to be so nice. They're so focused on being nice that they don't want to,
Yeah, I have the meanest beta readers around. I love them. I don't want anybody who's just gonna tell me that it's good. No, I do have 2 for Ostrander's Wrath, who were basically like hype guys. There was one point in the book where I knew I was just really upset about how badly things were going, and I was like, I need somebody to just encourage me. And so I got two of my friends who I knew were a little bit more easygoing, and I was just basically like, I just want to know if I should keep writing the book. That's basically
Yeah.
all I need to know at this point, or if I should scrap it and start over. And they brought so much enthusiasm to the table with their commentary. So that was actually really helpful. In that instance, that's what I needed. But typically, no, I hate that. I want a lot of criticism so that I can actually fix the things that are wrong with it, and actually know what people's real opinions are. It's not helpful because then if you get to readers and you don't have those honest opinions, you're going to get them then. You're going to get them either before or after you publish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do a lot of reviewing for Goodreads after I've read a book, especially from the indie authors because I know how important those reviews are. And the fact that I see on that, on people's Goodreads pages that, there's a 5-star review or there's a 1-star review, and the 1-star review just said it was bad, and that's it. And that is not helpful because okay, that's fine, you didn't like it, but did you think it was bad because it was not what you normally read? Did you think it was bad because it wasn't well written? If it wasn't well written, what parts were, give some, like my reviews generally are like a couple of paragraphs. And if I love it, I'll tell you why I loved it. You know what I mean? If there's nothing that I can find wrong with the book, I will say that, and I'll then, explain the parts that I really love. But I mean, even when you see 5-star reviews with like one word or no words at all, they just leave the 5-star review, or they leave a 5-star review and go it was amazing. That's awesome, I'm glad you liked it, but
Why?
just a little bit more in depth to the review so you guys can get more out of it. And especially with the negative reviews, you want to know, well, is it my writing or is it just because you don't like sci-fi? Because if you spend all your time reading romance novels and then you go to read, a sci-fi fantasy where there's not much romance at all, and you go, well, I don't like this. Well, okay, it's just not your cup of tea. It could be the best written book in the world. That's what really, like, I'm not a writer myself, but that's what really annoys me. And I feel for you guys when things like that happen because that's just not helpful at all.
I mean, I think the best reviews are helpful to other readers, especially. I mean, because if you just say the
Yeah,
book was bad, then how are other readers supposed to know like why you thought that?
exactly.
But there is something to be said about if enough people say it's bad, and just if everybody says it's bad, then you've done something wrong and you need to get some more feedback. You need to find somebody who's willing to give you feedback. Um, but generally, I do think it's really helpful when people are detailed in their reviews. But I also, as somebody who has tried to be a reviewer and an author, they're very different skills.
Hmm.
And I have learned that I'm kind of a caveman when it comes to reviews. Like I read a book and I either love it or I DNF'd it like less than 50 pages in. And there seems to be nothing in between that.
Yeah.
And I try to think of like my thoughts on it. And when I'm on like podcasts and stuff, I have 1,000 thoughts when I'm talking out loud. Like I just interviewed Nick Scrimger, who wrote Sea of Souls and the Way Stations trilogy yesterday. It hasn't been put up yet. Offer Kuban Speakeasy podcast. He's got to edit it still. But I could have talked about her book on that podcast for like 4 hours if they had not forced me to stop. But when I sit down to write a review, none of that like translates to good words. Like it just sounds like a list of positive attributes or me talking about how I love the grammar so much. And that doesn't seem like a particularly helpful review style, talking about how the sentence structure was just fantastic and she used that really well to differentiate different types of scenes. I don't think anybody wants to read that. So I do struggle. I understand the struggle with writing a detailed review because I think some of us are just we're cavemen. I don't have big thoughts about books, apparently, which I never realized. I guess I've always been so focused on like the craft part of things and the structure part of things that it's hard for me to just be a reader and think about my thoughts about the book other than just like I liked it. I loved it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Well, because we've
I also can't write a blurb.
Oh, tell me about it. Oh, I flip and hate them. It's like you've written this long, long, long book, and now you got to summarize it.
Yeah, like how do you capture it? And especially with like bigger books, you know, like epic fantasy books that are like multi POV and have like kind of scattered plots like mine. Yeah, it's just kind of like I feel like it would be easy to write like a mystery or a horror blurb because that's such a straightforward sort of plot that doesn't sound ridiculous. But even when I'm just talking about my books, I'm like, free people and prostitutes. This sounds just weird. Like, like when non-bookish people ask me, especially like people in my real life ask me what my book is about, I'm just like, it's fantasy, like Lord of the Rings. Because that's like the only frame of reference that a lot of people in my family have. And my mother did try to read the book, but she DNF'd at the mattress side. I guess that was offensive. she wasn't offended, but she was just like, I don't think I want to read this. So yeah.
That's all right. I'll bring up the books now, seeing as you don't have them with you, but now they're here.
Yes. Beautiful. Samantha
Elegant.
Slaughter did the art, all the art for book 1, and most of the art for book 2, Ostranger's Wrath. 21 on Twitter. I'm like pointing to my screen as if you guys can. Yeah, that little like dog-looking monster in the
All right.
corner.
Yep.
That's by 21, and the full illustration is inside the book. But both of them are amazing authors, and there were time reasons why I had two different artists for the first book. Samantha Slaughter is like my best friend. She's got 2 kids under 3 years old. She just didn't have time to do more than that. But then my boss at my day job did the cover design for both of them. And I sat over his shoulder and told him to try different things and that I didn't like things or that I liked them. And he didn't find that annoying at all. So yeah, that was fun. And they pretty much ignored me on a lot of stuff. Both Slaughter and Shane, my boss, they just kind of decided what to do on their own based on what I was telling them. Because all my ideas sucked, and I'm not a visual artist, so I didn't know. But they turned out beautiful. Yeah. It's definitely better than my ideas.
Yeah, definitely. No, I like them. I like them. And I remember when we first found out that you were coming on, I went on to, like I always do, I went on to Amazon and I was like, oh, that's a good cover. And then I read the blurb and put it on my Kindle Unlimited pretty much straight away. So it is part of my growing TBR list. But yeah, it definitely sounds like it's, to me, that's definitely right up my kind of alley. I really like urban fantasy, sci-fi fantasy. Yeah, that too. But no, it just definitely sounds like it's right up my alley. So I look forward to diving into it.
You will never look at trees the same again. No.
Before anybody leaves, there's no smut. There's no tree smut. Yeah. That was a big misconception in the beginning. Like everybody who follows me on Twitter knows this, but the book 1 used to have a different cover, and it was Axley, the main character, and her dad, who's like a Spriggan monster dude. He's a tree guy. And if you put 2 characters on the cover together, and one is a man and one is a woman, 100% they will be considered in a romance. And if one of them is a monster, it doesn't matter because monster romance is a thing. But yeah, so I didn't know it was a thing before I published the book, and that led to a lot of confusion. But yeah, so I learned a lot about romantasy and monster romance that I didn't know before publishing, and had to change my cover so that it would not be confused for tree smut romance, which people were really excited about. If anybody wants to fill that niche genre, I'm sure it will be lucrative. Yeah, there is a market there of people who want to read that. I don't want to write it. It is dark epic fantasy. So yeah, just if you want to write that, you've got a market waiting. I will direct everyone to you because I still get that all the time. People who think it's romantasy. I don't know how to change the cover on my Linktree thing, like the books to read link in my Linktree still has the old cover on it. And there's like a few other places that I just don't know how to fix that. And, you know, people see the tree smut jokes because people on Twitter, everyone still makes those.
Yeah.
And then they assume that that's like a real thing, that the book is tree. But it's not. That's her dad. And it's dark epic fantasy. There's no spice at all. It is the least spicy prostitute book ever. Yeah. The market for not spicy prostitute books is much smaller than market for tree smut.
Yeah.
I've learned that.
You're gonna find a review very soon that says, 3 stars, not enough tree smut.
Shockingly, I've seen the romantasy crowd eat people alive, and I'm still like afraid that might happen to me over some misunderstanding in the future. But I had so many people in the beginning when I first published reach out to me via DM to just be like, hey, I think you might have made mistakes with this cover, with this title. Generally speaking, this is not what it looks like. Instead of just going and 1-starring the book.
Yeah.
And there have been a couple people who, I guess, left reviews that thought it was going to be something else. But they were pretty nice about it. They were very understanding. There's one person who learned that they didn't like smut-free books with my book, and I thought that was lovely that they figured that out. They had never read a smut-free book, and mine was the first, and they hated it. So that's good. Gotta explore to learn your reading preferences, even if it's on accident. So they were generally amazing, and I'm still super appreciative of that because I did unintentionally mismarket it just by sheerly not knowing they existed. And that, I had learned that romantasy existed right before I published, but the cover was already done. And I figured out it existed, but I didn't realize that the naming patterns and the covers would come into play that much. Because all I ever read was dark epic fantasy. I've read exclusively dark epic fantasy and sci-fi since I think I was 20 years old. I haven't read anything else. So yeah. You learn a lot publishing.
Yeah, you do. So do you want to give us a rundown of the world that you've created? What's it like? What's it like? What's it like to live there?
So there's Spriggans, which are like tree people, kind of like Ents from Lord of the Rings, and then there's humans, and they make Spriggan human hybrids. The main character is one such Spriggan human hybrid. They're all part of a criminal organization. So the Spriggans control this hybrid population and make sure they stay kind of contained to this one city. And underneath that city is where they live, and they have a criminal organization that kind of subsidizes their life or funds their life. And they also organize the weapons trade between the Spriggans and the humans, because there's a communication barrier between the two species. And they assassinate and are seductress thieves. So not really prostitutes. And somebody a reviewer said that it was the least weird kind of, or I wrote the escort thing to be not weird or something like that. And
Yeah.
I thought that was a really nice compliment.
Mhm.
I don't think it reads like you would expect it to with these seductress thieves. It's really, it's baked into the world so hard that it doesn't seem like what it is, if that makes
Mm.
sense. Like
Okay,
baked
no, I
into the
get you.
culture. So, so the main character is a seductress, thief, assassin hybrid person, and her name is Axley. And this does not come out sounding like quite such a long list when you write the actual book.
Mhm.
The things you find out in marketing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the story centers around her, but it is multi POV, and she has a human half brother. So like her mother's son, and he was like manipulated in the womb to have this sort of unique ability, and she has a similarly unique ability from her dad to be like a medium for him. So together they're like more dangerous if she were to choose to go that route. And she's trying to keep people from finding out about him. So he's younger. I think he's like 7 at the start of the books. Um, and so she's trying to protect him and basically be like a stand-in parent because his his parents are not in the picture. Um, but yeah, so she's trying to protect him and trying to stop people from finding out about him. Before the book starts, uh, 3 of her friends do find out about him, sort of. They see him at least, and she suspects that they'll put the pieces together and figure out who and what he is. And so she kills them. Um, and and this is all before the book. So she just kills her 3 friends, which are like her teammates on this criminal organization, and then takes her brother and leaves the city, which is kind of like a big deal for her. For one, because she's not a human, and this is the only place where hybrids live and feel safe. But also because there's things tying her to this criminal organization that it's difficult for her to abandon. She has responsibilities and obligations outside of her brother. Um, so they go on the run, and then that's where the book starts, is with them being on the run. There is a side plot romance that is not very melodramatic, but some people like it. Some people think it's romantic, and some people think it's like just background. So it's a very normal romance, I guess, is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. There's
Yeah.
there's no like touch her and die or like tropes you can tie to
Yeah.
it. Although I do have one reader who made a really, really funny trope list. I can't think of the things on it, but it all had to do with aliens. It's not a sci-fi book, but there is like an alien origin story to all the characters in the world.
Awesome.
But
So do you know what's inspired the whole idea? Like, I mean, did you get heavily into Spriggans or something, or like how did the idea come about?
I've always kind of been like a forest goblin. Like I said, my dad loved Tolkien, and
Yeah.
so and we grew up in the middle of nowhere, Beaver Dam. Um, and he would take me into the woods a lot and tell me scary stories, and Spriggans were one of the many scary stories he liked to tell. Um, he just liked fairy tales and mythology and ants and things like that. And so I had been reading the Grimm fairy tales, and I got to Cinderella, and I hated it just as much as I hated the Disney version. No offense to anybody who likes those, it just doesn't
Mm.
make sense. Like logically, there's so many plot holes
Yeah.
in that story that it's, you could fix
Mm.
that, as an author. What were the Grimm brothers doing? I don't know. But I did like how dark it was, at least compared to like the fun Disney one. And I thought, I want to ruin that story horribly. I want to do the most damage to that story that I can do, and also make it a sensible story. And so that's where I came up with like the prostitute thing. Because, the main character of Cinderella is like, this sweet, very nice person. And I think
Yeah.
that's wonderful and great. Um, but I was basically just spitefully planning my plot against the fairy tale itself. So that didn't, I like sweet characters too, but mostly I like to write morally gray characters. So anyway, I started kind of like doing test drafts of what that would look like in practice. And then that got out of control and it kind of like left the realm of fairy tales entirely. And then I was listening to the radio and I heard the song Roots by In This Moment. And that made me want to add in the Spriggans. And then I sort of just kept doing test drafts with that. And I started trying to think of what I wanted the story to actually be, like as far as themes and plot points and characters. So then I started building up the world. I did some brain overlays between like birds and wolves and bears and humans to figure out the personality traits of the different characters that I wanted. Because I wanted characters that seemed not human because they aren't human, and do the origins of the story, there's like different animal DNA mixed in. The alien origins. But yeah, so I looked into like how the pleiotropy would work in creating those personalities and generally how that would feed into the gifts and abilities in the book. So it's kind of like a low magic book. The abilities are mostly just kind of like a different species, not like fireballs and stuff. So yeah, and then from there I eventually started like actually writing instead of just doing test drafts, and wrote the book.
Awesome. So what's next? Are you going to do book 3?
Yeah, I started on book 3. I had been doing just test drafts, but I am now finally starting like I think what I would consider the first real draft that I don't plan on throwing away. And I'm liking it, liking where it's going so far. Hopefully I can fit in the plot line that I had to delete out of book 2. Book 2 is mostly in a different environment. So like book 1 is like a lot in the forest. Not really in the forest, in a city that's like in the forest. It's like Appalachia, basically, or Ireland or Scotland, those kind of environments. Whereas book 2 is mostly in the desert. For about half the book. Dominish Books did not like that. He did his review recently, which I totally understand, because I actually realized as I was writing that I don't really like writing in the desert. And I think I did a pretty darn good job for not liking the desert. But it was an interesting experience, and I realized that I really just love trees and moss. And I mean, that feels more fantasy to me anyway. So yeah, I'm going back to the trees and moss. If anyone is concerned about being stuck in the desert for half the book again, you're not going to be stuck in the desert. We're leaving. And it was kind of bleak in the desert. There was like a lot more violence, and like there's like an arena thing, and like kind of like a 7-chapter battle. And so that I think kind of didn't have as much of a fantasy feel to it as kind of the first one that was very different. The second book turned out very different than the first book, and that wasn't really intentional. It's just how it happened. But the third book, we are going back to the forest. And then I've also been working on the science fantasy series on the side, which I started before Starlight Jewel. But it has had to go through so many different drafts that it's taking a lot longer. But yeah, I'm a slow writer.
Well, your books are big, aren't they? They go over the Mike Molman limit, don't they? They're past 500 pages.
No, they don't. The
No?
first book is 492 pages at 6x9. I think it's 171,000 words. And the second book is 392 pages. It ended up like exactly 100 pages shorter than the first book.
No.
So they are a little long, but not like
massive,
really long. Yeah, they're not huge tomes, but they're still too chunky to end up on some people's TBRs. And in some competitions, there was one time I wanted to enter a competition, and the limit was like 150,000 words, I think, and too big for a lot of book boxes. I know your Paper Quest, the one that Stephen William Hanna runs, they won't take my book. She's too thick. So yeah, keep that in mind, new authors. If you're writing your debut, You should keep it under 150,000 words for lots of reasons. One is opportunities. There's just a lot of things you can't get people to do with a big book
Yeah.
because of just logistics.
No, I can't do big books. I'm surprised my latest one's 76,000 words, and I was like, whoa. That's
Yeah.
because my previous one was like 47,000 words. Yeah, it's just like I can't. I don't know. I don't have the management skills to, you know.
I don't have any management skills. Um, if you read the books, you'll probably realize that the plot is basically just the characters mismanaging their lives um, terribly with bad moral and they're all very intelligent people, but none of them are doing the right thing ever. And they're trying, they just can't figure it out. So it's a bit a couple of reviewers have said that it doesn't have a plot. But it does. It's just a very character-driven plot.
Yeah,
But I get what they're saying. There's not like
yeah,
a big evil person, and that's kind of how I think. And I think
yeah.
that's like when different people are plotting their books or writing their books, some people have like that really linear, and I envy that so much. Like
Mm,
I finished reading Sea of Souls earlier this week, and for one, it's better than my book. Her writing is beautiful. If you haven't read Sea of Souls, you should. Everyone should. It's gorgeous writing. It's so dark. It's amazing. I love it. But it also had this like beautiful linear plot line where things just, happened,
mm,
and there was still plot twists, there was still intrigue, there was still so much to love about the complexity of the plot without the plot being kind of that Game of Thrones
yeah.
feeling of multi POV chaos, which is mine. If you love multi POV chaos, then you might enjoy my books. But if you want that strong plot line where there's like a goal and they're like
Yeah.
trying to actually do something aside from like survive,
Yeah.
then other books.
Awesome. Well, we're going to jump into our bonus stuff now. I didn't inform you of this, so you have a choice. There is a choice. You can have 6 bonus questions, which are all book related, probably pretty simple to do, or we have a game which everyone is jumping on and raving about, where we give you some parameters and you got to pitch us a story. It's kind of like a
Oh, yeah.
on the fly. You want to play
Let's
the
do
game?
that.
Play the
Yeah.
game. All right. I'll bring up the instruction paper.
Have my wieldy hatchet.
Oh,
This will help me through the game. I'll win.
um, come on, brain work. Where are you? All right. So the game is called Story Pitch. You're going to choose a number between 1 and 6 for each of these things. So setting, a genre, main character's profession. We say optional addition, but everyone just does it anyway. So it's like it's like throwing like a little bit of a spanner in the works. And then basically we're going to give you what they are, what the number is, because me and Ryan have access to a graph. And then from there, we're going to give you a story for us to pitch, or a story for you to pitch. Sorry.
Okay. Got it.
So, what is your number between 1 and 6 for setting?
1,
Okay. Genre,
2,
2. Main character's profession?
3.
Oh, I see. I'm sensing a pattern here. What are you doing for optional edition?
4.
4. Wow. Okay. This will
Very
be
creative.
easy. Very creative. Okay, this will be interesting. Okay, for setting, you are on a space station.
Okay.
And this is going to be a really hard genre for you to pitch a story
Oh
for.
my gosh.
But the genre is sci-fi.
Oh, go
Didn't that
figure.
work out?
Well,
Okay,
space station sci-fi, that's pretty good.
yeah.
Oh, standard.
Okay, so your main character's profession is a serial killer on the run.
Hmm.
And your optional edition, which is something that must appear in the story, is Batman.
All right. Batman, a serial killer on the run on a space station.
Yeah. Now, Batman's not the main character. The
Yeah,
main
he's
He's
just
character
just
got
an
a,
is
optional. He's an optional addition.
he's just there.
Okay, and so story pitch. So I just
Yeah, just like a synopsis on like your worst nightmare, a back cover blurb almost. You know.
maybe I should have picked the other one. All right, let's think. Did you say a serial killer on the run?
Serial killer, he's on the run
Okay,
on a space station,
all right.
and Batman's there.
How long do I have to think? Goodness,
It's
the pressure.
it's pre-recorded, so as much time as you want.
20 seconds.
I guess I gotta think of a name for this guy. That's where I'm stuck right now. All right, I'm gonna call him Timothy.
Timothy.
Uh, Timothy has destroyed several asteroids with mining companies on them, and he has done this for financial reasons because he's in a competing mining industry, and he wants to obviously become wealthy. But Batman does enter the picture now, and he is already wealthy, and those were his asteroids.
Yeah.
So he does try to kill the serial killer, and these books will start off with the battle of Batman versus Timothy, the rival asteroid belt mining company owners. And they're both going to eventually become friends. So this is enemies to friends. And then once they become friends, they'll both become serial killers and they'll kill other people's asteroid mining companies. Yeah, that's my pitch.
Excellent.
I'm sticking with it.
I love it. I do.
Timothy and Batman.
I don't think I
Also
can get.
Timothy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Timothy probably has to kill Robin in order to take the best friend place.
yeah.
Like, since
So
that position is already occupied, he's going to have to add
he's
one more
essentially
murder.
the Joker.
Yeah, basically.
I don't know if I like Batman becoming a serial killer because he does have a strict no killing
But
rule.
people can change,
Yeah, I
people
mean,
can
Ryan,
evolve over
Ryan,
time. And I mean, they both got so much in common.
mm,
They want to be rich and they want to be
yeah,
more rich
yeah,
and they want better toys, like better mining cars. And,
mm,
you know, Batman's got his Batmobile, but he needs a Bat spaceship, and that's a lot more expensive than a Bat car.
yeah,
So I feel like he would probably resort to other methods if he needed more expensive gadgets for
yeah,
space, which he would, obviously.
yeah,
They cost a lot more to live in space than on Earth. Like Gotham City is just very, I
yeah,
mean, you barely have to be rich at all compared to space.
yeah. And isn't there the killing joke where Batman kills?
No, Batman doesn't kill.
Doesn't
The
he?
killing joke is where Joker shoot Batgirl in the back.
Oh, okay. Wasn't there one where Batman says, "I've had enough murder"?
Nope. Nope, he's
Even that
never.
like kind of like dark Batman movie, what was it? Like the one that had the blonde guy playing the Two-Faced dude.
Yeah, he still
Um,
never killed anyone.
yeah, it was just dark, but he didn't kill anybody.
Mm,
Yeah, no, he took the blame for Two-Face Harvey Dent killing the people because he wanted Harvey Dent to be a symbol. And if people knew that it was Harvey Dent that killed the people, they wouldn't respect him and wouldn't sort
yeah.
of go
Yeah,
along with
so he still
everything. So
didn't
he
kill people.
Okay.
He was just emo.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's why it was
yeah.
dark.
Sorry, I'm an absolute Batman
Yeah.
nerd. That's how I actually
You hurt his
joined
feelings.
up on this podcast. So I can pretty much I'm actually one of the few people who has read, oh God,
All of them.
from issue 27 to issue 1050 of Detective Comic, which is where Batman first came out, and everything in between. So yeah, I'm kind of a Batman nerd.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can't really be too much of a nerd about any lore with comics because even though I read tons of them, because of how my dad got them, it was never like a 1 through 50.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah,
whichever
I get
ones
you.
didn't sell. So
Yeah.
it was,
Yeah.
scattered. So the plots, and this is probably why I'm so bad at plotting as an adult.
Because there's no plot.
The plot to me was just, oh, things are happening today in this comic. Things
Yeah.
are happening again. And, none of it ever made any sense. So who
Yeah.
cares?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you want to play again? Because we have another graph.
Okay, sure.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
There is an option for hard mode, but I don't know how you feel about that.
I mean, if you're gonna do something, you may as well go all in.
Okay. Hard mode it is. Now you can give us the same numbers or you can give us new numbers because it's a different graph, so you get different answers or different results, should we say.
Okay, 6.
We're gonna go 6
Uh-huh.
and then
5, 5, 4,
five.
and 3.
Okay, so going backwards 6, 5, 4, 3. All right, in a hard mode. So you're setting. Oh, this is right up your alley. It's an enchanted forest.
Oh, fun.
And the genre, we're doing hard mode, yeah?
Yeah.
The genre, you said number 5.
Yep.
So the genre is children's literature, so a kid's book.
Okay.
All right, main character's profession is a mad scientist.
And the optional extra you must include in your story is a French mime.
A French mime. Okay.
There's
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
an English one, not a an American one, but a French mime.
yeah, the stripy shirts and the so an enchanted forest with a mad scientist and a French mime for kids.
Mm. For kids.
Mm.
Well, it said children's literature is the
Yeah,
genre,
yeah.
but it doesn't necessarily have to be for kids.
No, that's not fair
I
point.
mean, like the Grimm brothers, like they're not 4 kids anymore,
Yeah,
but they were
true.
4 kids once.
Okay,
So I think, I can that can still because
yeah.
wasn't mad scientist for children's literature and
French mime in an
enchanted.
enchanted forest.
Yeah, it is going to be kind of hard to get the French mime into the enchanted forest. Hmm. Trying to think of what forests in France would even look like. The only place I've ever seen is the place with the dirty water.
Well, I don't want to be too helpful, but you've got a mad scientist, so I'm assuming he could create a portal.
Oh, that's not scientist, that's a sorcerer.
Fine.
Uh,
No more help.
and I, but I guess if the forest is enchanted, then it could transport people.
Hmm.
All right, we're gonna have Timothy again. Um, Timothy has left his spacefaring life and he has come back to France to get back to his roots since Batman abandoned him. And he is trying to just, stay occupied and not think about how terrible it is to have your friend abandon you. And he's, in town watching these mimes and other people. But this mime, as he's doing things, Timothy does think it looks a little bit suspicious, but he realizes this too late. The mime is actually a sorcerer, and he sends him to the Enchanted Forest as punishment for his crimes in space with Batman. The Enchanted Forest is enchanted in such a way that you can never sleep. Um, you can never sleep, and you will slowly go insane if you do not find your way out or find your way to the mad scientist. Um, and the mad scientist has created a sleeping draught. He is mad because he's been in the forest and he hasn't been sleeping. He does not use this, potion that he has made, this antidote, because he was mad for a long time before he thought of it, and now he just doesn't care. But he does know that the people who the French mime sorcerer sent here do care, and he knows they want to get out, and he knows that having this is good leverage. So he has formulated this sleeping drought and has left hints of where he's at around the forest and has made sort of a game of it. So Timothy has to follow the mad scientist, hence to find the laboratory in the enchanted forest where he can get the sleeping drought and finally go to sleep. In the meantime, he's just exhausted and complaining about how tired he is and how there's no coffee because this is the forest. And he will never be jealous of glampers again. And generally, he's just miserable the entire time and has to just walk while tired for most of the book. That's my pitch.
I love it.
Yeah. It's a redemption story
for
for Timothy.
Timothy. Yeah. And it's a redemption story for Batman because now we can put Ryan's mind at ease that Batman has returned to his less killing evil ways.
Yes. Yeah, he has returned to being a good guy now that he's super rich again, in like space value.
Excellent. All right. We need books about Timothy now. Why Timothy? Does it just come to your head, or is there someone in your life that you're like, I gotta mess with Timothy?
Oh, there's a bunch of Tims. It's kind of a
Oh,
joke.
that's true. Yeah, Tim McKay, Tim
Yeah,
Wolf.
Tim McKay and Tim Hardy and Tim Wolf. There's tons of them. I couldn't tell any of them apart at first. As you see these little thumbnails of people, and it's just like, I don't know, everybody looks the same to me. You got to have a crazy hairstyle for me to actually like know who you are after only talking to you for like
5 seconds.
yeah. And recently I went to see a bunch of people that I have met before, and I confused everyone because this was like a dress up event, and so all their hair was different. And I got them all confused. I couldn't tell who was who because some people had ponytails and they had like their bangs done and things. I don't know. So yeah, there's all these Tims, and then I named a squirrel Tim because I like all the Tims. They're all great people. So now there's also Timothy the squirrel. Yeah, so I just figure it's a good name. There's lots of good dudes named Tim. So and there's other names where there's a lot of people named it, but there's like controversial people mixed in among them. Like, I guess I shouldn't mention any specific any specific name, but in a couple of the group chats I'm in, we talk about good this person and bad this person, or things like that. But so Tim's a good name. I figure it's always safe to name a character that. I like simple names. I know a lot of fantasy authors like to go with like, something really long and fancy. But that's a lot of work for me as a reader and as an author. And so I just made like all the hybrids. They only have one name. They don't even have a last name. And most of the names are like 1 to 2 syllables.
Yeah.
Like Axley is the main character. It's AXLY. It's super easy. And then there's like her brother is named Greg, because that seemed like a good name. I've known some good Gregs and just figured that worked. Like she has to have a different name because she has a different backstory, and there's like a naming system with the hybrids. But I tried to make everybody's name really easy to pronounce. There's only like 2 like fantasy sounding names. And that's only because I wanted them to sound foreign to this culture. So kind of cheated in that way.
Cool. Excellent. Well, thank you for coming on. It has been fun.
I appreciate you guys inviting me, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. I like games.
Awesome. Well, what we're going to do is do the thing that most podcasts do at the very end, give you the floor to plug yourself where people can follow you, buy your books, and anything you want to tell our listeners and viewers. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm over on TikTok. I'm currently really trying to push that content since I'm new there and I know algorithm stuff, but I'm also really enjoying it there. Just because the community has been like very nice and welcoming, which was unexpected. I am still pretty nervous about making videos, but I do my best. And I'm also on Twitter a lot. I haven't been able to balance those two very well, but I'll probably go back to being on Twitter a lot soon. Yeah, I'm on Instagram, but I don't really do anything over there because I don't understand it very well. Uh, and I'm around other places as well, but I never go to like any of them. Blue Sky is just all politics when I'm there, so it's kind of stressful. And yeah, so TikTok and Twitter are mostly it. And yeah, you could buy my books. If you don't like them, it's totally okay with me. They're books. Everybody's, got opinions on them. But I'd appreciate you opening them up, even just reading the sample, see if you might like, the writing style or the weird world. It is a bit strange, but it's not romantasy, so there's that.
Awesome. Well, guys, I'll leave all the links down in our show notes. If you want to reach out, thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com, or just reach out on our socials. And yeah, until next time, keep reading those indie books, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
See you next time.